my instructions at all times. Keep it clean and remember, defend yourselves at all times. Twist them up.
Vicious verbals, the tensest of face-offs, even the odd stray punch and the unacceptable comment. Now the wall of noise comes from the crowd as these two rely on their fighting fists and ring craft towards glory and massive bragging rights. David Haye says it will be a demolition. Tony Bellew feels the Haymaker quits. 18 wins in 3 rounds for Haye. 18 knockouts for Tony Bellew. Power aplenty. It has to be explosive.
I feel like I'm going to explode out of it. I'm so tense, I'm on the edge of my seat, just anticipating what's going to happen. Tony Bellew just needs to, looks like they're going to go for it early on, straight away.
Bellew with the left hand as Haye comes in.
That was a good old balance, I think, but the crowd is so ready to jump at anything.
But David Haye clung to that there, Tony looking a bit scruffy and scuffled, they came together, and Bellew landed, I'm sure, a left hook there and knocked David Haye back. They gave him something to think about early on.
Left hand from Haye. He's a good shot. Back comes Bellew. Left hand from Haye, and Bellew's chin is holding up under the early onslaught. This is fascinating.
The thing about Haye, he throws that jab to the stomach as a big shot, and then he tries to use it as a decoy, and then he'll come with the same left hand with a hook to the head.
So just counter punch in there from Tony Bellew there on his back foot.
The right hand, yeah, and he seems like he's ready for that hook, because he's tried it a few times now, Paul.
Fast counter punch from Bellew.
Out of range with the jab there, David Haye. As he tries to take the fight right to Bellew, he's got that extra reach advantage. Remember, both fighters have been down a few times in their careers, so what happens? Right hand for Bellew, sweet shot.
Good right hand counter there from Tony Bellew on his back foot as David comes forward. He's not going to just let him have his own way here. He needs to concentrate constantly.
Is Haye as quick as he once was? Bellew carries the speed up from cruiserweight. Is that a factor here?
Possibly. Haye forcing his work a little bit, going in expecting to just land that shot can be dangerous. He needs to jab. I'd like to see Tony get behind that jab.
Right hand from Bellew, not phased one little bit. It's a really good start from the bomber as Haye is all wild and woolly.
He's wild and lunging in, he's leaping in the big open hooks, leaving himself vulnerable.
Tony is reacting with the right hand every time Haye misses with the hook. He's going to get Haye to think twice about throwing that left hook. He's going to make him put it back in his pocket, so to speak.
Haye just looking clumsy and wild there with his attacks, nothing behind the jab, just expecting to walk in range and land them big hooks. The boxing doesn't work like that.
I'm impressed with the timing of Bellew so far.
Still very early on, but it's aggressive.
For Bellew, trying the body, that's what Dave Cornwell said they do. They don't believe it is 100% the Haye physicality after the shoulder operation. Oh, big swings, and Bellew tries to get a right hand, and Haye comes back.
Dangerous looking punches from David Haye, but they're missing quite wildly. Tony Bellew needs good round from Tony Bellew.
Haye spins around. He was with Adam Boone for so long. They had a wonderful partnership. Haye says he's happier than ever now, training properly in the black and orange. If you need any distinguishing features between the pair, the blue, of course, of the male Tony and Tony Bellew, fighting, he says, for his family's future. He got the dream at Goodison Park, and this, he believes, is a bonus. Right hand from Haye early in the second.
I'd like to see some jabs from Haye. Just get back to a couple of basics. You know, he's trying to seem like he's trying to land a big power shot.
He's looking for that one thing. He's got the one thing on his mind, and that's the big punch. He thinks once he lands that shot, he's going to wipe out Tony Bellew, and that's dangerous because boxing doesn't work like that at top level. You've got to set stuff up. You've got to use your jab. You've got to throw fade. And Tony Bellew, as you were saying at the end of that last round, I've always been impressed with his counter punching ability.
Right hand from Haye, and Bellew just shrugs it off.
He did shrug it off, but I like the fact that Haye actually set up behind the jab, and Haye's getting back to those basics. You gotta get back to your basics. Bellew's not just gonna give it to you.
I think Haye realises from that first round he can't just steamroll forward and land shots.
Again, stalking, trying to hold the centre of the ring. David D. Haye in fight number 31, the 32nd for Tony Bellew, who's been more active, who has the momentum. But everybody said this is a step too far at heavyweight. Is this just a matter of time before they open up again? Here we go.
The thing, if Haye can get that jab working on anything, maybe he can take Bellew's mind away from the hook and then surprise him with left hook. But he's got to use the jab first, and then that way Bellew starts thinking about the left hand coming up the middle instead of from the side.
Both fighters here looking for the big counterpunch, the big hurtful counterpunch. Tony Bellew sitting back on his back foot, but David Haye not really giving him much to counter.
Missing again, Haye tries to target the body. Did that hurt Bellew? The natural weight and size advantage of the heavyweight, who's always been able to punch for fun, David Haye.
That might be a factor, Adam, but as the fight wears on, also the fact that David's been inactive might catch up with him, so probably balance out.
There's the jab, as Paulie was saying, going back behind it. David Haye, terrific amateur, silver medalist in the world, always had the skills and technique, but Tony Bellew, a three-time ABA champion at heavyweight. Can you believe he was a light heavyweight for so long as a prize?
He's got that extra weight to him now, Tony Bellew, that he's not used to, so that might be quite hard to carry around. Haye just loading up there wildly, expecting to land shot.
But Bellew can put that hand, back and forth. Haye back to his jab. Is Bellew fancying this more and more?
Yeah, Bellew gaining confidence as the fight progresses.
Good punches there landed from both fighters. Nobody really hurt. Already longer.
Helping out Shane McGuigan, just loosening the arms. David Haye had that shoulder surgery. He says it's absolutely perfect. Is it? Will it become a problem as the rounds tick by? The general consensus was it would be Haye early, or if Bellew could stick in there. Would the fact that David Haye hasn't had a real fight in a number of years catch up with him? Just those two easy victories over Mark Demoy and Arnold Gurjaj here at the O2. This is the comeback. He believes he's the most devastating heavyweight on the planet. Time to prove it.
You would expect the longer this fight goes to favour Tony Bellew more because of David Haye's recent inactivity. With the weight difference, don't forget Tony Bellew's giving weight away here, and that will also.
And that's the thing, Carl. I agree with you. I agree with you with the rounds, and that's the only wild card going on over there. This is Tony's first fight heavyweight. How does he carry the extra weight as the rounds progress?
Get weighed in at 15.38. 11 pounds heavier than usual for Tony Bellew. And Haye came in pretty heavy to us at 16. We thought he might be about 15 and a half. Built more for speed, but he's been telling us it's a devastating knockout and it's coming early. Well, tick-tock, we're in the third round and we're halfway through it.
And Tony holds on to hold his ground a little bit more now.
Look at that, Haye comes in, 4-1 on to win. Money going on Tony Bellew as this unfolds. It really is absolutely fascinating at ringside.
Even the draw went down to a hole.
David Haye's got one thing on his mind here. Tony Bellew looking for the power shot, but if you could get behind his boxing a little bit more, give David something to think about as he comes in, that would help him out. But they're both trying to land that big money shot.
I got a feeling Tony's waiting to take some risks, a few more rounds. I got a feeling right now he's looking to
take this a bit later.
Yes, take David a bit later.
Just the round that Tony Bellew beat Ilunga Makabu, got off the floor to do it and become WBC Cruiserweight champion as it goes for a right hand, and they go toe to toe. BJ Flores was down in 3 as well. That sparked off this fight with the antics at ringside. He's got his arse, Tony Bellew. Can he deliver?
I think he's answered the question here that he can actually take the power of David Haye. He's not going to be pushed around and bullied. So the longer this goes on, and as David Haye's tank empties, but having said that, David Haye punches hard through the whole duration of the fight, but we've not seen enough of him of late to draw judgment. This is going to tell us a lot about David Haye, but Tony Bellew here doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, David seems like he's making the fight, but again, I don't think Bellew's too committed to doing a lot early on as far as just making the fight go some rounds. If Haye misses anything particularly wild, Tony is ready to counter though, as he's shown us.
Executing their game plan. We wondered if a long tactical battle was coming to it. Maybe it will. If Haye can't get rid of Bellew, stay within 6, Paulie.
Yeah, I think a lot of this fight is going to come down to the corners, and I think they have two brilliant trainers in the corner, and Dave Caldwell with Bellew and Shane McGuigan with David Haye.
They certainly do. And there are two terrific fighters in there, but David Haye saying all through the build-up he is the elite man. I know a lot of it is to sell the product, Carl, but he really believes he's a grade or two above Tony Bellew. Not on this evidence yet.
The clips we've seen of him in the gym and on the bag and the pads, he looks fantastic. Aesthetically, he looks so well. He looks like an unbelievable athlete, but he is very naturally athletic anyway. But this will be the test.
Tony fighting very defensive. David's going to have to set some traps. He's not going to land the initial power shot. He's going to have to throw some shots to bait Bellew out of position and then try to follow up and get him with the follow-up shot. And I don't know if he's understanding that, but he's going to have to get that figured out if he wants to land anything.
This is a bit of a stand-up on range, tit for tat with the jabs. As soon as they come together in punching range, it's a bit of a swing-up. But Tony Bellew, for me, has got a slight advantage because he's blocking shots well and he's looking for that counter-punch.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Tony's got to keep David's eyes open because when he does get too wild, Tony's got to
Big shot.
There's the one.
And he's still from the haymaker because he realised then that he can hurt the Liverpudlian.
And why did that land? Because he was going jabs first. He got Tony's mind away from the left hook, using some jabs, and then he went back to the left hook.
Tony cannot afford to switch off for 1 second because the big shots coming his way.
An uppercut whistle pass, followed up with hooks. Bellew tries to come up with a right hand. Is he biding his time just for a couple more rounds, Bellew? Or does he have to hurt and dent Haye, stop him marching forward?
If I had to pick based on what I've seen from Tony Bellew in his career, I think there would be a time in this fight where he decides to go for it. Based on the character traits he's shown in his career.
Stood up there, it's 2 big shots from David Haye. Now he's looking to get him to go inside Tony Bellew, left hook, right hand. David Haye's waiting for him, and when he's in range, he's just throwing everything at Bellew power-wise. He's just unloading big, hurtful shots with one thing on his mind.
He's always wanted the knockouts. He promised a showreel one here at the O2 on March the 4th. The jab to the body from Haye.
That jab to the body, maybe it looks like it's not doing anything, but what it's doing is it's taking Bellew's mind away from the right hand, it's taking Bellew's mind away from the hook, so that when David goes back to those power shots, he may be able to surprise Bellew and catch him with them.
I thought I would have seen David Haye blow it earlier in front of Tony Bellew in terms of fitness. I thought he would have been feeling the pace more, but just looking at them, Tony Bellew seems to be breathing. Don't get me wrong, he's not blowing a gasket. He just seems to be dropping the pace and taking deep breaths, and David Haye seems to be quite comfortable in there.
Yes, he does.
The best.
It's a who's who, Paulie, tonight. And no one knows who's going to win this. We're into the 5th round. We almost joked saying there's no way it could go long, it couldn't go the distance. But we're enjoying it.
It's a really watchable fight because it's edge of your seat stuff.
Yeah, and the power shots.
I'd like to see Tony get back behind that jab, or get behind the jab, not back behind it. Just start using the jab the shoulder, jab the stomach, get his feet in range.
You know what, you're right.
Something from Haye, then he can do his counter punching.
You're
He's
right,
so good
but
at.
when he does use that jab, he is touching David. He's just got to be a bit more consistent with it.
Tony Bellew trying to come back with a counter right. You were alongside David Haye in Miami. He wasn't training on a yacht, was he? He was working hard in the Brook Street gym.
Some of the times on the yacht were just for the show. You know, David is one of the biggest showmen in boxing, but he knows when to get serious as well.
How did he look out there to you? Like the old Haye?
Looked very explosive, I tell you. Very explosive, hard punching, very fast. But the thing about Tony is he's been crafty this round, this fight so far. You have to set up that explosiveness. He's not just going to land for you.
Again, jamming the body, Haye. That's a tactic he's just started last couple of rounds to slow Bellew down. The extra weight.
Both fighters waiting. You're right, David Haye throwing the jab to the body, trying to draw something from Bellew. Bellew taking a couple of sloppy or silly looking jabs there. He should get his glove in front of his face for that. You see David Haye with a bit of confidence that way.
You see David trying to be more rhythmic with the jab, throwing it to the stomach, feinting with it, throwing it up top. He's trying to get Tony distracted a little bit so he can go back to the power shots off that jab.
That's some judge of distance there from Haye. Just misses with the left hook, but it seems as though he's moving into a rhythm, just upping it ever so slightly, Haye now.
Well, when there's nothing happening and it's slow in boxing, the fighter that starts throwing a jab to the body or fakes or jab to the shoulder, he ends up getting something going, like he is now, landing a couple of good shots there, jab to the shoulder, right hand, but Tony Bellew's standing up well to it, but this will go against him on the card.
Yeah, exactly, and everybody thinks about David Haye's power, but this is the David Haye that I've always thought about when I've known him since the amateurs. Is this explosive boxer. Yeah, he's got the power, but he's got the ability to do what he's doing this round. And he's boxed beautifully, vary his rhythm, speed, feinting, and of course the power.
Look what he did to Bellew. You know, winning the world heavyweight title as he connects there. And tries to back Bellew up in his own corner. And swinging the bomber.
Loading up with big shots there, David. Tony Bellew getting tangled in the ropes there a little bit on his back foot, looking to get away with that, but a couple of painful looking shots did slip in from Haye. Haye enjoying this himself now, smiling at Tony Bellew.
Smiling, and do you think there's respect there now? After all the antagonism in the build-up, there's a cut for Bellew just on the bridge of the nose.
So about 25 seconds ago, Bellew threw some punches with David Haye. He didn't land them, but he let David Haye know.
To life just behind us, Anthony Joshua. He's got that enormous fight against Vladimir Klitschko on April the 29th. Joseph Parker meets Huey Fury. Deontay Wilder defended his version of the world heavyweight crown last weekend on Sky. And now, this matchup that has got us all gripped. Tony Bellew and David Haye. They've knitted together perfectly the ingredients in the pot in the build-up. As the fight enters the 6th round, neither man badly hurt, neither on the floor. Power at the moment, not the main focus.
So this fight has come together well, you know. Maybe some people are surprised, but I'm a boxing purist. I like the tactical stuff that both of these guys are showing us.
Good jab from Haye there, sharp jab. He's got that reach advantage. And Tony Bellew using it well there. Good right hand from Tony.
Nice right hand. Haye tries to come back with a couple of his own. We've seen Haye box fighters over 12 rounds. Same with Bellew with the boring ones against Isaac Chilemba.
Loading up there heavily. David Haye
just slips up. Something's gone with his knee. There's a big problem for David Haye. He can hardly walk, and he's got to go for the knockout. Can Tony Bellew sense it? Has both swung away. Parker's really gone here, and the body is breaking up for David Haye. And Tony Bellew driving out the leather off. Big swinging shot. Haye knows he's in massive trouble.
David Haye breaking down here. Tony Bellew coming forward, but he's dangerous.
Very dangerous, but here comes Bellew, and left hand wobbling, and David Haye is on the brink here, and there he goes, no knockdown, but he looks exhausted, and the injuries have come back to plague him, and we could be on the verge of one of the biggest upsets in British boxing history. David Haye is injured, and he doesn't have any balance at all.
What a shame, he can't stand up. This is really sad to see, and dangerous. Tony Bellew assaulted, big right hands and left hook. Nothing landed clean.
Bellew right hand, left hook. David Haye trying to clean up, and he goes. 20 seconds left in the 6th round. Can David Haye even get up? His boxing career looks to be in ruins here. David Haye just about gets to his feet. The bell's going to come any moment. And Tony Bellew with a right hand. And the bell goes. And David Haye just about makes it back. Will he be allowed to carry on or not? Shane McGuigan and the doctor are going to have a serious question to ask.
a shame of Williams holding staying in the corner.
It could be an Achilles, it could be the ankle actually.
Is it the Achilles that was troubling him? Tony Bellew enters the second half of this fight, which has exploded into life. Amazing. At the end of the 6th round, and here comes Bellew, and David Haye can hardly defend himself, and he's going to get taken out here.
Amazing bravery from David Haye, but this is dangerous.
And how much power can he even generate if he lands a shot?
Incredible bravery. We saw it when Danny Williams boxed Mark Potter all those years ago when his shoulder was out, and somehow he won with one arm. These guys are fighters, and they're fighting for their lives in there. And Tony Bellew is surely a few clean punches away from a dramatic career-lifting win. Haye needs to hold. What he does.
Referee having a really, really close lock here. 2 or 3 punches away from the stoppage here, Tony Bellew. David Haye can barely stand up. Showing unbelievable bravery here.
Huge bravery from Haye. But is there any way back? Surely not.
Is there any way he can even be effective at this point? I mean, he's punching back, so I don't know if the referee can actually stop it, but...
Tony's engaged or punching himself out here. Then what happens?
Yeah, that's a good point, Paul. If Tony punches himself out, the problem is David can't chase him down.
Tony Bellew certainly looking a little tired.
But here's the thing. If Tony punches himself out, David can't go chase him.
Staying on the ropes, hoping for one power shot. Haye swinging.
David Haye can't even punch here. Sad scenes here for David Haye. And his big comeback fight, physically, looking wrecked.
Physically, an absolute nightmare for David Haye. Courageous-wise, incredible. Tony Bellew still can't finish him off. Just over a minute left in the 7th round.
David's a veteran. He's going to know how to slide and dip and juke around to survive, but I just don't know how effective he can be to win the rounds.
Well, it's a pride thing, isn't it? After everything he said in the build-up, he doesn't want to go in anyway. Look, punch from Bellew. Again, it looks like Haye maybe running on empty.
Tony Bellew punching himself out a little bit here, loading up, looking for a big shot. I feel he just needs to get a couple of taps going, throw some arm punches. But where does this end?
Everybody on their feet at ringside. Haye tries to get one in, Bellew with a left hook. It's a slug out, a war, and it's a war with an able fighter and one that's very badly injured.
I've never seen the likes of this, Adam. This is unbelievable. Fascinating scenes here at the big fight. And David Haye still trying gallantly to do something.
I think you're right. Tony could go back to his basics, but I think he's just trying to physically impose himself onto David, even physically and mentally.
David Haye's going to get through the round. He falls on the ropes. He can only walk back to his ring. Extraordinary again. Should they be pulling him out, or do they let him go on?
His career is on the line.
Ridiculously for speed. David Haye in a fog. The body beautiful. It's physically breaking down in front of us. And I tell you what, we've seen some mad stories throughout the heavyweight division. What happens next? Is there any way David Haye can win this fight? The odds say no. 8-1 on Bellew. Remember, Haye was 6-1, 7-1 on with some bookmakers before it started. You never know in boxing, especially in this division.
Absolutely. The changed world of boxing with random injuries like this. That's the problem with the aging.
David Haye can't even set his feet to throw a punch. That's the problem he's got here. He's not really even got a puncher's chance with this.
He can't even win a round like this.
He's got no ground, he's got no base. There's nothing on these shots. Does Tony Bellew exhausted? I don't know what to draw from what I'm seeing. Tony Bellew here has got almost a sitting duck in his side.
Left hand from Haye and a right hand. And now he tries to go for it.
And you see how Haye put down the mouthpiece after he missed that hook. He's in pain.
He's been stopped once before against Carl Thompson, the only other defeat.
Tony
the reign of Hamburg against Vladimir Klitschko. Bellew has been stopped by Dennis Stevenson, but he is in the form.
He's short many shots now, Bellew.
Victory should be his, Tony Bellew, but still we wait.
David Haye also exhausted from the onslaughts in the last couple of rounds. a physical wreck. Unfortunately for David Haye, he is really seriously incapacitated.
And also, Paul, when you know you're working with an injury, mentally you exhaust yourself as well. And that can make you even more physically exhausted.
He's got no solid base, he's got no foundations for what he needs to do. Still managing to make a fight of this somehow.
Time's up out here from David Haye.
Tony Bellew has to be careful though, because if he does get clipped, he didn't get hurt in the last round.
Enormous heart from Haye. Bellew trying to find the punches. Dave Coleman was asking for speed. Shane McGregor will just be hoping somehow Bellew punches himself out. And Haye can land a couple. His hands are down.
Here's why Bellew will punch himself out, because anytime he needs a rest, he can step back and Haye can't come get it. So he can take a break anytime he needs it and then get back in.
Yes. He's unbelievable in the driving seat here, Tony Bellew, but he's punched himself out, but he's feeling that heavier weight. He's struggling carrying that extra weight around. He's not a heavyweight, he knows that. But he's coming quite heavy here, and that's what slowed him down. He's emptied the gas tank himself. He'll be having a breather now, and there'll be another onslaught from Tony Bellew.
And he'll get that breather.
I think he'll get that stoppage.
And he'll get that
I can't see
breather.
how hurting him. He just can't put anything together, David Haye.
Exactly, that's why he'll get that breather. The Haye can't even keep chasing him.
When your Achilles tendon ruptures because he's flat-footed, he's really hobbling around on that right leg.
I forgot about that. You see, I was worried. I was thinking about my own fight. I forgot that I'd heard that he went to Germany for that injury.
Well, everybody thought it was another wind-up, you know, part of the mind games.
It was the natural adrenaline kicking in that pain as he's getting used to that ankle now. Still on his back foot.
Remember what Tony Bellew said as he's 2 rounds up on Carl's card. 75-77, and again on Paulie's as well. I mean, it's Bellew's fight to lose, but he said that David Haye would quit, and the one thing he's shown in the last couple of rounds more than anything is extraordinary courage.
That he's anything but a quitter.
Anything but quit. Fighting for his future, fighting for pride, both of them.
How many guys would have called it quit at this point with this injury?
Right hand from Bellew, and body shots, and Haye in trouble on the ropes again, and able to set himself. You see how wide the right leg is.
He landed a couple of shots early on in this round and didn't really have much effect on Tony Bellew. I'm not sure David Haye can set up enough to hurt Tony, so Tony really is looking at a 60 buck here, and it's just a matter of time. When he fills the tank, gets some oxygen around the blood, around the skeletal muscle, he'll then have an onslaught, which I'm sure will finish David Haye off, who really is incapacitated. I mean, he just can't do much. It's amazing that he's still still on his feet, still trying. Swinging in here with big digs, missing wildly. Tony Bellew seen him coming up. Doesn't really want to be on the back of this.
Good job from David Haye, and he's trying to outstrike Tony Bellew on the inside as well, incredibly, when they get close.
And Bellew maintaining his alertness to Haye's power shots. He takes some jabs, but he's alert to the power shots, making sure not to take those cleanly.
Good defense from Haye on his back foot there.
Good defense from Haye, but Bellew's starting to shorten the shots a little bit. So when David Haye first got hurt, he was winding up with haymakers.
Left and right from Haye. Bellew still hasn't ever been really hurt. And now he can't get the balance to leverage the power, Haye, as Bellew tries to walk him back to his own corner.
Not much on Tony Bellew's punches here. This is really fascinating stuff. I'm expecting Tony Bellew to put together a 5-tick punch combination and get this fight ended. But it's not happening because Tony Bellew is not throwing the punches.
Well, Haye's still showing he's at least alive. When you get in his punching range, he will show you he'll throw a shot.
Right hand from Haye, and again. Bellew's hurt, that was low. Time out, and now Tony Bellew is just going to have a cooling off period. It hasn't been nasty at all, has it, until this point?
Yeah, that low blow might have been an accident.
Yeah, the referee's had nothing to do really. It's been very fair. Tony could have a little breather here if he fancies one. He's not taking it.
Oh, headbutt. We got a headbutt.
Bellew trying to come back with something of his own. Haye survives again. Still standing just about. And this respect, there is
Haye really doing well to even walk.
So you know what? He was ridiculed for the little toe after the Klitschko fight. Absolutely ridiculed, maybe unfairly so, the way he said it. But you know what? If he snapped his Achilles and he's still in there with Tony Bellew, you've got to give him all the respect.
And it's only going to get worse. I mean, I wonder if you can... What are they doing?
Not sure what the referee's doing here, making him take a bit of loose tape from the shin area of David's leg. He was flapping around a bit, he wasn't happy with it, fair enough.
The thing about it is it may be tearing even worse if it's torn. The way he's...
Good left hook from David Haye. Tony Bellew needs to be careful because he's got this fight in the bag, really. He couldn't have such a gift horse any more than this.
Well, Bellew's starting to go for it now, more than he was in the last couple of rounds. Into the 10th. Can you believe that?
I can't believe it, no. And David's still dangerous here on his back foot.
Tony Bellew's got to start cutting the ring off, though. I mean, if he wants to take away whatever motion David Haye has left. David's going to take that break from right there. You see, David circles the ring. Tony Bellew would probably be better served to just cut the ring off as well instead of following David around.
Eddie Hearn on his feet saying, the tape's wrong, you can't do that.
I think he can. I mean,
big shots from Haye, right and left hook. Tony Bellew needs to be careful here because he's not busy enough. He's not doing enough to convince the judges that he wants this. He needs to just throw a few more punches, especially when he's got David Haye on a sitting target.
Right hand for Bellew.
the problem, Carl, is David can't throw enough punches to win the rounds himself.
No, the only way he can win is a lucky couple of shots, surely.
Yeah, but he can't find the range. Tony has to get him the range. And again, Tony's following him around. If Tony cuts the ring off, he's going to force David to fight even more than he wants to. So really put him into problems.
Yeah, he needs to put the ring off.
Oh, that's out from David Haye. And that got through the gap of Tony Bellew's defence.
Tony Bellew just needs to get behind the jab, cover the jab on, and not worry about loading up the big power shots, because I don't think he's got it in the tank. Just win the rounds now, on his back foot, make it look easier. He's taking risks.
Good right hand from Bellew, and again, still Haye tries to set himself, get the jab going, and lands.
But again, you see how Haye's able to escape. If you don't give him that escape route, and you cut him off, he's going to have even less options.
Body shots from Bellew. Getting rough and tough in there. I'll tell you what, despite the Achilles, the condition that the pair of them are in, it's hats off to the training camps.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this is dealing with an injury. You're fatiguing even more. He's putting all the weight. He has to put all the weight on one leg.
Oh, Bellew offers the hand. Haye wheels in, tries to get some sort of balance in those big legs. David Haye.
Okay, Bellew is alert to every power shot that Haye throws. Even that one. We're trying to catch him off by surprise.
Yeah. But he's still keeping himself together, isn't he, Tony Bellew? Lefts and rights.
We're going to be very consistent. He's putting a couple of shots together. He's obviously very exhausted. This is an unusual circumstance to be in as a fighter. He probably can't believe himself what's going on.
Oh, another good jab from David Haye.
Great jab from Haye. Bellew's been busy this round now and landed more punches and put David on his back foot. So he's put this round in the bank. And if this continues, then he'll be winning this fight.
He's been able to consistently land more right hands. I mean, so many times you take your ankle if your ankle's twisted, or you take the laces if they keep coming off.
Well, into the 11th we go. We've seen the struggle with David Haye for several rounds now because of the Achilles. Real unbelievable heart, as Anthony Joshua was saying, for him to keep going through this. Are we looking, whatever happens here, at a real crisis for David Haye, whatever he does next? Can he come back from this injury again after the shoulder?
Well, I think this injury is going to need surgical intervention, and you know yourself, when you start opening up the human body, it takes time to heal, and that time is not got on his side.
Yeah, his age
so
too.
This could well be the end of David Haye, what we're seeing here.
It's one of those losses.
Oh, right and left, but maybe the end physically, he might still win the fight somehow.
He's still got a chance, and with that right hand he just landed there, Tony Bellew is taking absolutely ridiculous, unnecessary risks.
But Haye is running out of time because the rounds have been going to Tony Bellew.
All Tony needs to do is get his gloves up and jab.
Yeah, he just keeps it basic with these 1s and 1-2s.
He'll see the big shots coming because Haye cannot set them up. Tony Bellew definitely feeling that extra weight, which we said earlier, because that's the only reason he can be exhausted. I mean, he had a big round when Haye's Achilles actually went.
Lunges with that left hook.
So
So distressed and annoyed with himself.
Really struggling here.
And that's from not being able to transfer the weight over to the other foot. So you just go down.
But on he battles. People wondered whether they were going to get value for money with this. It would all be over in seconds. A complete mismatch. Even before the injury, it wasn't.
No, showing unbelievable courage here. David Haye with the injury. Tony's done enough to win, but he's taking silly shots. I mean, that right hand, there's not much on it now. David Haye really, there's no power on them punches. This is where Tony needs him.
Oh, Belly's hit it!
shots.
And down goes Haye, and physically, can he even get back through the ropes? The count is at 9. The towel's gone in, and Tony Bellew causes a seismic shock in world boxing as he rips up the script and ends the war of words, and there is the respect, and everyone should applaud that. David Haye was valiant until the end. The warrior in him wouldn't make him quit, but Tony Bellew kept his cool, and I'll tell you what, he has won a fight that virtually nobody picked him to win. One of the biggest upsets in British boxing in recent times.
The odds were so heavily stacked against Tony Bellew. Nobody really saw that coming. We thought if he Wood stood there early on, thought he'd be okay. That wasn't the case. He got hit, he was okay. And then the injury, but to see them embrace there, Tony Bellew didn't celebrate when he won. He's crying now, he's emotional, but he didn't celebrate. So much respect there. Such a real proud man there, both of them. But Tony Bellew there, showing me the kind of proud man he is. They're embracing David Haye. He knows he's injured. He knows really, towards the end, Haye couldn't fight back. And that was a really nice scene there when he embraced.
Especially after all the bad blood. That was good to see.
Really good to see. So much to talk about. Enormous unpredictability from the early Bellew. There's Derek Chisora, who's father Tony Bellew. They're big mates, and they're so happy. James DeGale here, a great friend. You know what? So many people wanted Tony Bellew to win this, but they didn't believe he would.
Yeah. This is not just one of the biggest outfits in British boxing. This is one of the biggest outfits in world boxing in general, because these are two world level fighters.
And Tony Bellew called it. The main reason he said he'd beat David Haye is because he said David Haye is too old.
He's getting married in July. His 3 beautiful children. He is a new massive star of British boxing, Tony Bellew. Can you believe it? He was in the Rocky films. He won his world title at his beloved Goodison Park. And now, one of the biggest upsets ever. It's extraordinary, and he deserves every bit of it.
He does deserve every bit of it. And he called this as well. He called it. He said David Haye will be too old. Amazing scenes there.
But you know what? David Haye takes a great deal out of this too, in terms of how we should all respect him. He had the jokes about the toe, he had his time out, he had shoulder surgery, and although he promised a demolition job which he couldn't deliver, he stuck this out.
He fought half the fight with the injury. I think that was half the fight. When did they stop? At the 11th? When did he get hurt? In the 5th? I mean, this is half the fight. He fought like this.
I mean, we gave you your props when you fought Miguel Cotto with the state you were in.
This is you got no balance. You can't fight. At least with a facial injury, you still have your weapons. You know, without your feet, you don't have your weapons to set the punch.
This is the finishing scenes. Unfortunate scenes here for David Haye. He caught a right hand there and a left hook on their head. As his legs collapsed from under him,
and he's still trying to come back in the ring and get up. They had to throw a towel in him. He's going to come back in again.
Against Cole Thompson, he didn't quit. He was throwing back. Cole Thompson had him out on his feet, and he was still throwing punches. Let's not forget that. He's always had heart, David Haye.
Massive heart, massive respect, but a huge win for Team Bellew. Dave Colwell, who was ridiculed in the build-up, and he's had a tough time with Gavin McDonald's loss, David Price's loss.
This is great to see.
But now look at these pictures in the ring. David Haye and Tony Bellew with masses of respect, arm in arm. The towel goes in. The emotion from the
Following a brilliant display of courage by David Haye, his corner indicates to the referee he's unable to continue. Referee Phil Edwards calls a halt to the contest at 2 minutes, 16 seconds, round 11. The winner by TKO victory, the Fighting Pride of Liverpool.